I have a shocking fight announcement for you guys today. Apparently, Manny Pacquiao is coming out of retirement to face Buakaw. And I have seen this from multiple sources at this point. We will get into details of when and how this fight will potentially play out, with news on when they're actually going to sign the contract. That is coming up very, very soon. If you guys have not already realized, it's sort of mega fight season. It just seems like so many awesome fights are happening. Crawford versus Spence is coming up. UFC, as always, is putting on spectacular fights. The boxing world is actually getting very, very exciting. Fighters at the very top level are facing one another. And within all this, we're also seeing some mega fights that are a little ridiculous, and I know a lot of people don't like them. Things like Buakaw versus Pacquiao. A lot of people will be going, well, why is this happening? In addition, coming up, there is Diaz versus Jake Paul. Another fight where many people are going, why is this happening? And finally, there's going to be Tyson Fury versus Ngannou. We're going to touch on all those fights very quickly, but the primary focus today is the announcement of Pacquiao versus Buakaw. And this fight for me came out of nowhere. I never heard anything about them talking. I did, reflecting back just right now, see something about one of Buakaw's managers, I believe, saying something big was in the works for him, but I didn't know what that meant. So the first thing that I want to say is let's look at what I actually know. First, I went back to try and find some information on this, and I stumbled across an article from 2012, 11 years ago, that said they were potentially going to fight. Some big mogul in the business world was trying to make it happen, and that was the first article I stumbled across. So this is not new to the fight world. It's been talks about it already. As of now, the contract has not been signed, but apparently on July 21st, which is coming up very soon, there's an official meeting where these two fighters are going to meet and they're going to sign the contract. The fight will be taking place in January 2024, and for anybody out there who's hoping we're going to see Buakaw light up Manny Pacquiao with kicks, I would just throw those dreams aside. This is 100%, I can guarantee you, even though I haven't seen anything, I know it's going to be a boxing fight. And if you didn't already know, Buakaw actually had a bare knuckle boxing fight where he wore the boxing shoes for BKFC. He did his debut sometime around 6 months ago. He crunched the guy with a couple of low body shots and finished that fight. And in addition, another big super fight for Buakaw. In November, he is apparently fighting Saenchai. This was supposed to happen back in April. I was actually talking with the promoter, or I think the co-president of BKFC, and he was messaging with me and saying, yeah, we have to postpone it. And he messaged me again and said, yeah, it's going to happen in November. So Buakaw is going to be doing all these big super fights. Now, I know a lot of people are not a fan of the super fight, and the first thing that I want to say about that is stop, ask yourself, would you do it? If somebody came to you and offered you a big chunk of money to fight outside your sport or to fight one of these YouTubers, would you not do it? You would. I would. Somebody came to me and said, Gabriel, give up your fight career. You're going to have 3 more fights. You're going to fight these random YouTubers or MMA fighter or bare knuckle boxing, but we're going to pay you $1 million a fight. Of course I'm going to do it. You would be foolish not to. And Buakaw versus Manny Pacquiao, yeah, we'd like to see both these guys return to their sports and fight people at the top level, but why? When you can make something like 10, 15, 20 times more money than you're ever going to see. Somebody like Buakaw, #1 Muay Thai fighter, or at least most recognized Muay Thai fighter in the world, he goes and fights anybody. He's not going to make close to as much money as when he fights Manny Pacquiao. So keep your eyes open for the upcoming press conference where they sign this stuff. They sign the contracts on July 21st. And like I said, there's not going to be any kicking. If I was going to speculate on a rule set, I would suspect boxing. I would guess 6 rounds. And if I had to say what's going to happen, I think we're going to see Buakaw get lit up. He is bigger than Manny Pacquiao, but his defense for hands has always been a little questionable. He kind of goes long guard, or he's good at evasion, but once you remove the ability for him to throw the counter kicks, it's going to be very difficult for him to land. And when he throws, he tends to drop his hands, and he is one of my favorite fighters of all time, but I just don't see, what are you going to call this, and probably an exhibition between the two of them. I don't see that going well for him whatsoever. I just hope he does not get KO'd, but we know he's super tough, and he'll probably be durable and stand in there. Manny Pacquiao, however, hits darn hard. So fast and hit so hard. Now I want to change the focus very quickly to Ngannou versus Fury, because I've heard a lot of people at the gym the other day talking about this, and I just wanted to mention it again because I know a lot of people are going to be critical of Fury, critical of Ngannou for not staying in the UFC. I saw something about his salary, $13 million. He got $600,000 in his last UFC title defense. Why would he not step off to the side and take a fight down the road that's for so much more money? He signed something with BKL, I want to say, one of the other MMA fight promotions, where he's going to get $2 million per fight, and his opponent gets a big, massive purse. I like this guy. Yeah, he might have left the UFC, but he does what he wants. He does it respectfully, in my opinion. Who's going to win that fight? Somebody said the other day, like, oh, if Ngannou lands that left hook, it's going to put Fury out. He hits so hard. Guess what? Fury has fought Deontay Wilder 3 times now. He got just knocked down so hard and got back up. The guy is just incredible. His durability is pretty incredible. And Ngannou, yeah, he hits hard with 4-ounce gloves. I do not think he's going to touch Fury. He's not going to give him any problem. I just see that fight only going one way. And finally, obviously coming up, Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. We don't really need to talk about that one too much. You know, Jake Paul's done a decent job. Not won all his fights, but a decent job for somebody who didn't have a long background in striking, jumped in against some high-level dudes from other sports, granted, but still doing pretty well. Diaz, it'll be interesting to see with his kind of slappy Nick Diaz style if he can not get hit, because Paul hits pretty darn hard, and honestly, I just don't know if this fight's going to go very well for Nate Diaz. But who knows? We shall see. But the main focus today was Pacquiao versus Buakaw. Just came out of nowhere. Such a shock to me, and I'm sure most of you on the channel will be going, what? That's not real. It's not going to happen. And I guess we shall see in the next week. It's basically a week away where they're going to do the signing, and if it happens, I'll be interested. I don't know if I'm going to pay-per-view or anything like that for it, but I will definitely be interested, and I will definitely be covering it, just the way I will be covering Buakaw versus Sanjay in bare-knuckle Muay Thai. As I understand, I've been told is not going to be bare-knuckle boxing, but bare-knuckle Muay Thai. I will definitely be covering that as well. So that's all. I just wanted to bring you that news. Thanks for joining today, guys. I'll see you back here soon for another episode.